Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with BNEWS producer Sydney Bowles, BNEWS reporters Robert Paris, Tad Stefanak, Juliana McGreen, Arushi Daimo, and Lucian Gates. Peter Brown with the weather, Anthony Matos with sports, and Gretchen Carey with community calendar. Thank you for joining us. Burlington residents turned up Monday night for a community meeting on the future of the Fox Hill Elementary School, the vast majority speaking in favor of a smaller 325-student school on the Fox Hill site. Burlington is nearing a December deadline to tell a Mass School Building Authority whether it wants to rebuild Fox Hill, essentially as it is, though much larger, or if it wants to combine Fox Hill with the Pine Glen Elementary School, which is even older than Fox Hill. It's a complicated decision with many factors to consider. Residents in favor of a smaller school said young children deserve a more intimate school environment and that the Fox Hill neighborhood isn't a good fit for a large school campus. District parent Beth Pandolfo said she felt the school building committee wasn't listening to clear demands for a smaller school. Let's watch.
It's no secret to anyone that watches these meetings that you all don't see eye to eye with each other, and regardless, you need to find a way through. You are charged, the school committee, with looking out for the children's best interests first and foremost, and I am disappointed and frustrated that it has come to this constant bickering that helps no one's cause. We are asking you to stop with the mega school, and you're not listening to us.
Still, some residents spoke in favor of the larger school. Barbara LaRue said combining the schools is a chance to address Pine Glen as well. Whichever plan the district chooses, it will need anywhere from $77 million for just Fox Hill to $111 million for a combined school, to $169 million to replace both Fox Hill and Pine Glen separately. According to preliminary estimates, and these are rough numbers that could cost the average taxpayer anywhere from $253 to $554 annually, according to preliminary estimates. That's on the tax rate. It's not too late to share your thoughts with the school building committee. You can go to tejoin.com and use the code 517-840-058 to enter your perspectives and vote on the perspectives of others. The platform is open through September 29th. While the Elementary School Building Committee is moving towards finalizing its design, the High School Building Committee is just beginning down the same path. It is in its inaugural meeting, the committee voted to issue a request for services. A selection committee will go over the responses to create a short list of the best candidates, with the hope of signing on with an owner's project manager, or OPM, by November. The OPM will work for the district and guide us through the feasibility study process. Burlington's legislative body, town meeting, is slated to meet on Wednesday. The body will vote on some formalities, like setting the date for the next municipal elections, as well as deliberate on some substantial changes to town bylaws. Articles 11, 12, and 13 aim to allow Burlington to continue hybrid town meetings, one of the few in the state, in perpetuity, even after the state rolls back pandemic-era remote attendance rules in 2025. Those who support the provision say they would allow more people to serve on town meeting, but in an interview in the BNews podcast, The Burlington Brief this week, town moderator Bill Byer said he would likely recuse himself as moderator for these articles in order to share his thoughts. Let's look.
Town meeting, to work well, it's an interactive body. It's a deliberative body where people get up and stand and make their point and in front of their peers. And I think Burlington Town Meeting works very well. It's very different with people coming in online. Town meeting doesn't ask a lot of you. If you want to participate in town government, I would hope you could figure out a way of handling 5 evenings a year. And if you can't, again, I don't want to sound like too much of a Grinch. Maybe it's not your time to be on town meeting.
Town meeting is also an incubator for potential new candidates who get an opportunity to interact personally with their peers as well as many members of town management. Town meeting will also vote on some changes to parking and traffic rules. The rules are designed to help businesses share parking spaces and to reduce the amount of commuters during peak hours. Planning Director Liz Bonventre will be on the Burlington Brief to talk about it next week. Burlington Town Administrator Paul Sagarino was in the BCAT studios this week for his monthly sit-down. He talked about changes to the town's alcohol policy, this month's beer garden series, and those parking and traffic rules Liz Bonventre has been working on. Here he is.
I think we can all see that we have a real surplus of parking spaces in town at most locations, and it really is a poor use of land. It's it's not great for the environment, and I mean, we all drive around town and see these giant asphalt parking lots. With the changes to the workforce, with people sort of being hybrid at work too, I think the parking requirements that most communities use for many years have gotten a little bit outdated. From the times when everybody went to work every day of the week. So I'm really glad she's taking it on, and I hope town meeting is very receptive to it.
Some people question whether or not those changes are going to be permanent, and that we might end up having a re-entry if a large amount of parking spaces needed. The full interview is available on our website, bcattv.org. Town Common was bustling with pedestrians recently for the annual Ataxia Walk and Roll fundraiser. BNEWS reporter Lucian Gates checked it out and has this report.
Hello, I'm BNews reporter Lucian Gates here at the Ataxia Walk and Roll at the Burlington Town Common. Fundraiser to find a cure for a rare neurological disease called ataxia. Let's go check it out. Complete with a raffle and words from members of the National Ataxia Foundation, an event that travels across the country. NAF founder Doug Place describes the effects of this rare human disease.
So ataxia, it kind of depends on which style you have. I've had it 10 years, and you basically lose your sense of balance and the things like speech and so forth.
Organization founder Doug Place says the goal is to raise more awareness of ataxia every year as the NAF travels across the country.
This is our third time, and we expect about 70 people. The walk itself is pretty short. We just go around the circle. That's why this location is great, because you can pick a sidewalk, and our walk is less than a quarter mile.
And the donated money goes towards resources to finding a cure for ataxia.
Well, the biggest thing is I think people need to know what I have and what a lot of people have. A lot of times you get mistaken for being drunk because you just walk a little funny or you know what's wrong. Like I have a service dog, and I don't know how many times people have no idea that I need her to walk, and they think it's just a pet.
From Burlington Town Common, this is Lucian Gates for BNews.
Fall doesn't officially begin in Burlington until Truck Day comes back to town. BNews reporters Juliana McGrain and Arushi Daima have the story.
Hi, I'm Arushi Daima, and this is Juliana McGrain. We're back at Truck Day 2023, and let's check out this fan favorite event. So what did you do to prepare for Truck Day this year?
Maintenance Division was preparing the common. They put out the no parking signs around the common, get extra trash barrels here, deliver tables. They're on duty today working the event, making sure the trash is cleaned up and any other needs are done. And then our program division really starts on this back in the beginning of August, getting things ready, contacting companies, work with some of the nonprofits in the community, and then some of our scout troops and stuff that do food. So a lot of coordination in a short period of time. Summer is our busiest season with the number of people and programs. So as summer is winding down, they're in the midst of Truck Day and fall programming and everything. So it's a complete team effort.
And what do you think makes Truck Day such like a popular event?
Those horns that we just heard. Just the variety of vehicles that not only kids but adults see on the road every day and get up close and see what they're all about. So I think just the variety of vehicles and obviously a chance to spend a beautiful day out on a beautiful town common with family and friends.
Check out the full coverage of Truck Day coming to BCAT soon. I'm Juliana McGrain. That's Arushi Daima for BNEWS Weekly.
Shawshene Valley Technical High School, which serves Burlington, is holding elections for parent-guardian representatives. The reps sit on the school council and are responsible for assisting the principal in a variety of ways, such as reviewing the annual budget, formulating a school improvement plan, and reviewing the student handbook. There are 3 spots open for parents of current Shawshene students. Elections will be held on Thursday, September 28th, and all Shawshene parents are eligible to vote. If you've thought about running for local office, an upcoming seminar may be for you. Town Clerk Amy Warfield is hosting a seminar for current and prospective members of Burlington boards, commissions, and committees to learn more about what their roles entail. Presenters will include Neil Cohen and Maya French from the Office of the Inspector General of Massachusetts. The event is scheduled for September 28th from 4 to 7 p.m. at 61 Center Street. Warfield is asking interested members of the community to email her at awarfield@burlington.org. The popular PMC Kids Ride is back this year. The goal is to raise money for the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute and the Jimmy Fund. Organizer Christine Schneider says the ride is a family affair, she began after her daughter Olivia was diagnosed with leukemia at 2 years old. Kids ages 2 to 15 can ride for a $20 registration fee and $40 fundraising commitment. The Burlington Area Chamber of Commerce is always welcoming new companies into the business community. This time it was Med Spa 810, which offers skincare and body contouring services. Tad Stefanak has the story.
1, 2, 3.
All right. The Burlington Area Chamber of Commerce has cut the ribbon on the aesthetic medical services of Med Spa 810 in the Wayside Shopping Center.
Med Spa 810, we offer a large menu of services. We do injectables, we have a skincare line, non-invasive body treatment, and skin rejuvenation treatments. Our tagline is be your own kind of remarkable. So all of us have different concerns. In the early 20s, maybe it's the lips that you want some more volume in your lips. In your early 30s, there's a lot of preventative things that we can do to prevent early aging. And then when you're in your 50s and your 60s, you may need some laser for skin rejuvenation as well as fillers. Our services really have a wide range of ages, anywhere from 20s up until 70. We are having a grand opening event that we're offering. All of our experts will be here for all the treatments. We're having raffles and giveaways, and we really would love if you can stop in. It's going to be a great evening, and we are really here to help build everyone's confidence so that you can be your own kind of remarkable.
From Med Spa 810, I'm BNews reporter Tad Stefanak.
A relic of New England history has been kept safe in Burlington for more than 100 years, and now town officials are hoping to put it to use again. Sydney Bowles has more.
If you've ever spent time in Burlington's Town Hall, you may have noticed a small display case near the entryway on the first floor. It's a small wooden cane with a gold handle, and its story connects Burlington to a New England tradition stretching back more than a century.
It's actually started as a sales pitch for an old-time newspaper, the Boston Post. The paper itself actually was a big deal. At one time, it was the largest broadsheet paper in the country. And this guy named Edwin Grozier, he knew how to market. He put out a pretty good product, but he knew how to market. Around 1900, he decided to find out who the oldest couple in New England was. By the oldest couple, he meant you add their ages together and find out who's the oldest. In 1909, he did something similar. Again, hung up on this longevity thing. He decided to create a Boston Post cane, a cane that would be passed to the oldest resident in each town. And once that person died or moved out, it would be passed on to the next one.
Alan Folds documented the history of the Boston Post cane on his podcast, It's Also History.
Although the paper has been gone now for nearly 70 years, many of its canes are still floating around. At last check, 500 have been accounted for. In many cases, the canes have continuously been passed on to the rightful holders.
But what about Burlington?
The interesting adventure with ours is that when our town hall was redone in 1995, it went missing. And at one point in time, I happened to mention to someone that this thing existed, and it would be nice. I said, I think we've lost ours, but it would be nice we could get a replica and kind of start the tradition again. And that person mentioned to me, oh, I think my aunt has it. And the aunt had been an employee here, and it was in a box, and somebody said, well, we got to get this stuff out of here. What do we do with it? And she took it for safekeeping.
Thus, the case in Town Hall was born.
Well, in all the years I've read about these things, this is actually the first time I've actually seen a real Boston Post cane. You know, when he first gave them out in 1909, it said to the oldest citizen, but in his mind it was clear he meant the oldest male. And when some of the selectmen who were the keepers of the cane in each town balked at that and said, you said oldest citizen. He says, I mean oldest registered voter. And as we know, women weren't registered voters until 1920. When Edwin Grozier died, his son didn't have quite the same biases, and from then on, it was open to all citizens, regardless of gender.
Town Clerk Amy Warfield says the town will keep the original in its case, but it's getting ready to award a replica to a Burlington resident who's more than 100 years old.
So we do have someone who is 103 years old, and I'm in conversation now with her family to see if she would like to be awarded it.
I think, New England is a very traditional place, and I think people like this idea of this passing this on.
I think it's a fun thing, and I think it also, for people who have lived here for a good portion of their lives and who have contributed to the town, in one way or another. They were civically active. Maybe they raised all their children here, and their children have been active and involved. I just think it's a very cool recognition of our town and our heritage.
From Burlington Town Hall, I'm Sydney Bowles.
Burlington town government is full of people working behind the scenes, and we introduce you to them in our series, Who Works for Burlington? BNEWS producer Sydney Bowles has the latest installment.
In our quest to bring you the stories of Burlington employees you may not hear from all that often, we're going to the planning department to meet planner and development coordinator Caleb Zimmerman.
Yeah, so I started off as a geography major at UMass Amherst, and then kind of through that some of the similar courses there were in the planning field. And actually at UMass Amherst, what I consider to be the nicest building on campus is where the planning program is, so that drew me in. And from there, I just started to really love the classes, the academia, my professors, the young professionals who are coming into the planning field are people that I really enjoyed being around. And from there, I was able to get both my undergraduate and graduate degrees from UMass Amherst in the planning field.
When a business wants to locate in Burlington, they often need to work with Caleb to make sure they meet state and local requirements and work towards any permits they may need to open up shop.
The steps that I take care of might be seen as the spots where people get bogged down in local government, and there's all these permits, there's all these steps that need to be taken. And I try and do the best to avoid that. And I think it starts with honesty, that there are rules and regulations that have been put in at the local level within Burlington's laws, and then at the state level that we need to abide by first and foremost, because we do not want to be found to be breaking any laws or any rules at any point. But from there, we do our best to make sure it is efficient, it is quick, and it is done correctly for the applicant to allow them to apply for the permits that they need to apply for, move forward, get the proper approvals, and then be able to go into construction or whatever the next steps might be for them. Okay, so this is one of the most important places in the department. This is split up into 3 different spaces on the board. That here, this is decisions to draft. So these are applications that we've gotten in recently that we have yet to draft up any sort of a decision. Once these can be drafted and these need to be approved, they would then be erased here, put into this part of the board, and then once they've been approved, and if they need any sort of final edits or any final comments from the board that have been discussed, they'd be put in here, and then they get sent over to the town clerk's office for final stamping and approval. Oh, this is probably the most satisfying feeling in my job, of when I can finally take this eraser, take something off of here, and move it to the next row down.
But it's not all hard work. This planning professional doesn't forget to enjoy the town he's helping to shape.
The best part about working in Burlington is the amount of food options there are in town that I can get for lunch any day of the week. That any type of food that I want to get, it's available here in Burlington.
Now you know who works for Burlington.
Let's check in with Anthony Matos for the latest in BHS sports.
Hey everyone, I'm Anthony Matos in this weekly sports report. A lot has happened this past week. We have the scoop on what went down. Red Devil football had their second game of the season on September 15th against Woburn. Let's go to the highlights.
The Burlington Red Devils lost to the Woburn Tanners Friday in the Battle of Wynn Street at Connolly Memorial Field. Senior running back Joey Poland scored the first points of the game 9 minutes into the first quarter, found his way into the end zone for a score of 6-0, and an extra point brought the score to 7-0. The score remained 7-zip until there were 6 minutes and 42 seconds left in the third quarter. That's when Woburn quarterback junior Caden Davis threw a 67-yard touchdown to junior Ryan Lush, 7-6. Woburn went in for a 2-point conversion, giving them the lead 8-7. Woburn scored again later on the third with a 58-yard touchdown run by senior running back Brian Ferreira, 14-7. The Tanners added to their lead with another 2-point conversion, bringing their lead to 16-7. During their final drive in the fourth quarter, junior quarterback Anthony Garrier threw to sophomore wide receiver Ryan Brooks for a 27-yard reception. The clock dwindled to 24 seconds, setting up an 18-yard field goal attempt by senior Josh Pupa, but the Tanners special team blocked the kick, giving Woburn the victory with the final score of 16-14.
Burlington competes at home with the Cambridge Ringen Latin Falcons on September 22nd. We'll have the highlights of that game next week. The Junior Devils football team have a 2-0 start after defeating Lexington in a shutout 38-0. Next week they'll be competing in Manchester on the 27th. Lady Devils field hockey had their first win of the season against Stoneham on the 15th, 2-0. Goals in the game were made by senior captain Mia Lauder and sophomore Sloan Wilson. The girls were shut out on the 19th against Watertown, 7-0. Melrose will come visit Burlington on the 22nd. 1-4 is the current record. Red Devil Golf lost at Belmont on the 15th, 30-42. The Devils were matched against Shawsheen has been postponed to September 27th. Burlington competed at Meadowbrook Golf Course in Reading on September 19th, where they lost 46-26. Burlington has an 0-4 start to the season and will be competing with Woburn on the 22nd. As was taping, the match is underway. Lady Devils volleyball are now 5-0 after their 3-set shutout over Stoneham on the 19th. Watertown will be the next opponent on the 21st. As is taping, the game is still to be played. Both soccer teams competed against Lexington on the 14th, with the girls losing 2-1 and the boys 5-0. Sophomore Brianna Thomas scored the lone goal in the Lexington match. Stoneham was the next opponent on the 19th. The girls were back in the win column 3-1. Sophomore Brianna Thomas, junior Savannah Scally, and senior Morgan Ryan had a goal. The boys lost a close game 2-0. Both teams competed against Watertown on the 21st. We were at the girls game. We have these highlights.
Girls soccer had a match against Watertown High School on the 21st night of September at the Marshall Simons Middle School. Let's get to the turf. In the first half, Watertown took the first points of the game 1-0. Burlington tied it up later on 1-1. The score remained the same during the half. Watertown got one more goal in the second half, while the Devils finished off the game with another 4 goals. 5-2 was the final, Burlington.
We will have an update on how the boys did in Watertown next week. Both Red Devils cross-country teams lost 47-16 against Winchester on September 14th, while the boys lost as well 17-40. Check out the results for both teams at bcattv.org/sports. In their home opener, Stoneham came to visit. For more, we go to BNEWS Sports reporter Robert Paris.
The girls and boys cross-country teams were back at Varsity Field for their home opener against the Stoneham Spartans on September 19th. The boys won their meet 15-49 over the Spartans. Here is head coach Matt Carr.
Stoneham's a smaller team, obviously, so it was more about sort of getting used to the course, getting ready for the year, learning the course, because over half of the team is new this year on our team.
Senior Colin Irwin came in first place in 16 minutes and 28 seconds.
Colin and Chris ran a great race. We have a couple people who need to step up to fill in the spots behind them. Final score is 49-15. I'm a little annoyed. Our number 7 got passed at the end. Perfect score in cross country is 15-50, so we missed out on that because of a 10-meter straightaway sprint.
Unfortunately, the girls lost 30-27. Head coach Jess Nelson and assistant Danielle Cavino were impressed with how the athletes have improved since their season opener.
We ended up losing, but we're actually really happy with how the meet went. We feel like we're short on numbers this year, and we feel like if we had the numbers that we would typically have, this would have been a different meet for us.
Junior Ashley D. Martinez finished in first place with a time of 21 minutes and 50 seconds.
It was pretty close. So Stoneham, they got 27 and we were at 30. So it was pretty close. Ashley D. Martinez won the race overall. She had a really great time, so she looks really promising. And then some of our other girls finishing in a little bit after her did really well also. So we're excited for the rest of the season.
Both teams will face off against Wakefield on September 26th at home.
We got Wakefield next, and they're traditionally the power. Last year, we beat them for the league title. The year before, they beat us by a point for the league title, so this one matters.
From Varsity Field, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Sports.
The combined Woburn and Burlington girls swim team will be back in action on September 29th against Lexington. Currently, the team is 1-1. For more double action, go to BCAT.tv/sports. Check out our Twitter page at BNEWS Sports. That's all for now. I'm Anthony Matos. Back to you guys in the studio.
Weatherman Peter Brown says we can expect temps in the low to mid 70s this week. Let's tune in for the details and stay tuned after for your community calendar with Gretchen Carey.
Well, hello everyone, this is Peter Brown with Future Weather for the next 7 days. Fall actually officially arrives on Saturday morning at 2:50 in the morning, so summer is done. Now, as we start out our period on Friday, we should be seeing temperatures at this time of the year in the low to mid 70s, and that's exactly where we'll be. And as we get towards the end of the period, towards the end of next work week, we should be seeing temperatures again staying around 70 at this time of the year, and we're actually going to be maybe approaching 80 by the end of next work week, so really nice out there. So as we go ahead, let's take a look at what the climate prediction is calling for us in terms of temperatures and precipitation over the next 7 to 10 days. And looking at our temperature map, looks like here in the New England area, especially in Burlington and actually most of the lower 48, they're expecting us to have above average temperatures. And now, looking at our precipitation chances again, nothing real too surprising here, expecting us to have above average precipitation. I'm not really seeing that in the models right now, and that may be dependent upon a couple of low pressure centers that we think right now are going to be staying south of New England. But we're going to have to keep an eye on those for the weekend and at the start of next work week. We could have some showers moving in at that time. Again, keep an eye on that. Doesn't look like it's going to be anything serious at all right now. So as you go ahead, let's take a look at those 7 days of weather coming up. And looking at our temperatures again, going to be fairly pleasant out there. Temperatures seasonal for this time of the year again until we get to the end of next work week when we're going to be seeing temperatures kind of ramping up to near 80, maybe up in the upper 70s. So pretty pleasant out there again. Keep in mind we're going to be seeing those chances of showers maybe Saturday and Sunday. That's not a guarantee, but just bear in mind there's going to be some pretty wet weather just to our south down in the mid-Atlantic area, and we're just going to have to take a look and make sure that that doesn't creep up into our area. But all in all, a pretty nice forecast as we start out and head into fall. So everyone, get out there, enjoy the weather, and have a great week.
Hi, and welcome to the Burlington Brief. I'm your host, Sydney Bowles.
And I'm your other host, Sarah Eschelman. We're here to bring you a no-nonsense,
maybe a little nonsense,
guide to what's happening in Burlington, from major capital projects to schools to business and society.
Tune in every week for fresh interviews with people at the center of local news and conversations between two journalists who know what's up. So subscribe to the Burlington Brief to make sure you don't miss a single thing and get the best of local news delivered right to your ears.
Hey everyone, I'm Gretchen Carey, and this is your Community Calendar. On September 30th, from 7:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., the CrossFit Exclamation will be having a Sugar and Spice Mixed Gender Partner Competition. For more details and for registration, go to the following website. On October 1st, from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., the Burlington Community Scholarship Foundation is having a bowling fundraiser at King's on 3rd Avenue. To register, go to the following website. Also on October 1st, from 1:30 p.m. p.m. to 3:30 p.m., the Burlington Public Library is having a Friends Book Donation Day. Used books, DVDs, and CDs will be accepted. You can bring them to the rear of the library. For more community calendar events, go to bcattv.org, burlingtonpubliclibrary.org, and burlingtonrecreation.org. I'm Gretchen Carey, and that was your Community Calendar.
And as we do every week, we're bringing you a photo from a member of the community. Kim Lynch sent this in, and she adds, Marshall Simons Middle School is now the proud owner of 5 picnic tables, one of which being ADA compliant. These tables are the Eagle project of Dylan Lynch from Troop 103 in Burlington. Over the course of the past 2 weekends of building and many months of planning, organizing, and fundraising, the tables are complete and placed at the school where teachers can bring students outside to learn. Thank you, Kim, and congratulations to Dylan on the completion of this project. Okay, that's our show. Thank you for joining us. I'm Phil Gallagher. We're going to leave you with some fantastic drone images provided by John Sachs of this past week's Truck Day.